The presidency says security agencies are investigating a threat that has been made against its Director General, Phindile Baleni. In a statement, it says Baleni received an anonymous threat from a person or persons who want to interfere with findings of the state capture inquiry, as well as fraud in the public sector and state-owned enterprises. The presidency says the Director General received a letter containing threats and a bullet in her mailbox. Baleni is, however, receiving protection. Now, Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu visited the Nelson Mandela Bay as the municipality continues to face water challenges. Reports suggest that the dam levels are left with just 20 days. More on this, we are joined by the Department of Water and Sanitation's Director General, Dr. Sean Phillips. Dr. Phillips, very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. 40% of the city will be without water after the 14th of June. You've got a serious crisis in your hands.
Yes, good evening, Impo, and good evening to your viewers. It's not inevitable that 40% of the city will be without water if the situation is managed well now. The eastern side of the city is served by water which comes from the Gariep Dam in the Free State, and there's plenty of water there that is flowing through the Nooitgedacht water treatment plant. We've recently upgraded, and it's now providing almost 210 megalitres of water per day to the city, but only to the eastern side of the city. The problem is on the western side of the city, which is served by 5 dams, and the city has been in a state of drought for the last 7 years, and those dams are on average only 12% full now. So the city has been urgently working on putting some pipelines from the eastern side of the city to the western side, along with pumping stations, so that water can be pumped from the eastern side to the western side, so that more water can be provided to the western side, which is the part badly affected by the drought. Now, the city is currently using 280 megalitres of water per day, and we're only getting 210 megalitres of water from the Nooitgedacht scheme, and another 20 megalitres of water or so from boreholes around the city. So what also needs to happen is that everybody in the city needs to reduce their water consumption by about 20%, so that when the dams do eventually run out, and those pumping station pipelines are completed, which should be in the next month or so, there'll be enough water in the city for everyone to have some water. But if people don't reduce their water consumption as soon as possible by 20%, then there won't be enough water for everybody, and some will go without if and when the drought continues and the dams become completely dry.
As you prepare for this unprecedented water disaster, you make mention of pipelines that need to be installed on some of the parts that are mostly affected. Has the process already started? Because not much time is left.
Yes, it has. It's almost complete. As I indicated, the pipeline, one of the big pipelines is complete. One of the pump stations will be complete in July, and the other by the end of June, and the other pump station will be completed in July. So it's almost complete. There is already quite a large amount of water flowing from the east side to the west side, but when this work is completed, more will be flowing. So the infrastructure work is in hand. The key issue now is to accelerate that to completion, but also to drive a process of very strong communication to all the citizens of Nelson Mandela Bay to reduce their water consumption by 20%, so that if and when the dams dry out, everybody can have some water. If the city on average reduces its consumption by 20%, and the average consumption per household is reduced on average, or per person, is reduced on average to 150 litres per person per day, then there won't be a day zero. Then we'll be able to provide that amount of water.
Now your department, together with Treasury, were also talking about a so-called takeover of the Metro's water department. Who will be tasked with steering that department, and what will it look like in terms of composition?
This has happened already, Impo. there's a section of the Water Systems Act called which is Section 63 of the Act, which empowers the Minister of Water and Sanitation to intervene in a municipality when the municipality is not able to meet basic norms and standards to provide water and sanitation services. So our Minister Mchunu, has already implemented a Section 63 intervention in Nelson Mandela Bay, and the meetings yesterday and today were to put that into effect. He's obtained the written agreement of the Premier for the intervention and the Minister of Cooperative Governance, and the agreement of the Mayor, and we had meetings with stakeholders in the city who also agreed on the intervention. What this means is that the City Water and Sanitation Department will carry on doing its work, but through our implementing agent, Amatu Water, we will be closely working with that department and engaging with the Mayor on a daily basis to monitor the implementation of these key measures that I've spoken about, to escalate any delays to the Mayor and, if necessary, to the Minister, so that all of these key measures, completing the infrastructure work as rapidly as possible, and implementing the water restrictions and reducing consumption by 20%, are implemented decisively in the coming weeks.
As you make mention of the Amatola Water Board being appointed as part of the implementation, there have been some concerns raised about it, that it faces its own internal challenges, and including long delays in getting a major water augmentation project for the metro. Is there confidence that this is indeed the right composition for a city facing such a major crisis?
Yes, it is, because the Minister dealt with those problems with Amatola Water recently when he replaced the board of Amatola Water with a new interim board, which is led by very experienced leadership. The chairperson is Pam Yako, who's had a lot of experience in working with municipalities and working in government. She's a former Director General, and we have confidence that she's going to be able to play the leadership role which is required, working closely with the Mayor to get these things implemented decisively in the coming weeks. As I said, Amatola Water is not going to replace the city's staff. No one in the city is going to lose their jobs or stop doing what they were doing. They're all going to continue with the work. We're intervening at the leadership level with the board members of Amatola Water, with our regional offices, DWS, and with the Minister to assist the leadership of the municipality to implement the required measures decisively.
Now, on top of all the challenges, it was revealed at a joint operations committee meeting this week that the city takes an average of around 10 days to fix a water leak, even though they were gunning for a 48-hour turnaround time. How are you going to be addressing challenges like that?
That's one of the key focus areas of the intervention. So we're going to be monitoring the repair of leaks by the city. They've had some internal governance challenges, some delays in supply chain and procurement processes, which have resulted in the kind of problems that you're talking about. We're going to be working closely with the Mayor and the top management of the city to ensure that those challenges, when they arise, are resolved rapidly, so that the repairs are done as quickly as possible. The city is currently losing about 30% of its water in leaks. So if we can just address that and reduce the leaks in the city, then that alone would prevent us from going to day zero, and it would enable everyone to have enough water if they also reduce consumption.
So when it comes to, you keep making mention of day zero and warning against it, urging community members to use water sparingly. Do you think, in terms of the preparation process, could you have foreseen that such a challenge would come?
I think the answer is yes and no, Impo. No, in the sense that you can't foresee drought. Nelson Mandela Bay has now experienced an extraordinary drought of 7 years of duration. So people haven't seen a drought like this in living memory. So it's difficult to foresee that. But on the other hand, we are aware that with increasing climate change, this kind of event is likely to occur more in future. So I think it's an issue for the whole country to deal with, that we need to become more climate resilient, and we need to prepare better for these events and try and plan our infrastructure that we're able to survive extraordinary droughts such as this.
Dr. Phillips, pictures have also surfaced showing water augmentation projects scheduled to come online only after the dams run dry and lie abandoned, pointing to perhaps another serious matter of resources being wasted at a very crucial time.
I'm not aware of any augmentation projects which are lying wasted. The projects that we're focusing on are underway, and our focus is going to be on accelerating them. So we agree the projects need to be accelerated. As I indicated, they are already underway. They're due to be finished in June and July, and coupled with reduced consumption, then the city won't run out of water. But one of our main, we have two focus areas with the intervention and assisting the city. One is to help the city to implement effective reduction in consumption. And the second is to help the city to complete these projects as rapidly as possible and to fix leaks as effectively as possible.
Very well. Let's leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time. The Department of Water and Sanitation's Director General, Dr. Sean Phillips.